Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be going over the team that I've been using for the last day or so. It's a little bit off meta, but still some of the same things that you're seeing a lot of. And it's actually Togekiss, Swampert, and Machamp in the back as a safe swap. So the reason I'm using Machamp as a safe swap is because right now everyone's using Gyarados or Snorlax as safe swaps, and Machamp actually beats both of those pretty well. And it's not really weak against too much in the meta. It also beats Magnezone very well. Super effective with those counter damage and the cross chop. And actually I'm using cross chop and rock slide. I have seen a few people use dynamic punch, but I just like the speed of cross chop. It is a little weaker, or a lot weaker, than dynamic punch and close combat. But I like the speed of getting to those moves as fast as possible. So with that, definitely if you haven't, hit that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get into the games. Alright, so the first thing you might notice is that my Swampert actually isn't maxed out. I somehow ran out of Swampert candy, and yeah, it's level 36, so good for me there. Anyways, Magnezone lead, obviously very bad for Togekiss, but this is where Machamp really shines, able to flip the secondary matchups because of all the safe swaps, and I actually can shield here and I believe counter down. So once you land a Rock Slide, it's going to do so much damage that you can actually counter down the Gyarados. And I don't think they make it to a second move. Maybe they do. Okay, they don't. And then I'm just going to throw this Cross Chop into whatever's coming through. It is a Snorlax, so this person actually had two safe swaps with the Magnezone lead. Very interesting team comp. Pretty good, because that Waterfall Gyarados is actually going to be able to take care of Metagross in the back. But actually, if you notice, we're not using Metagross at all. Interesting decision by me, I'll say, because like I said, it's been on almost every team I've seen. Obviously, our opponent here also not using Metagross, so people might be slowly moving away from Metagross just because everyone's trying to answer it, but Metagross is so good in the meta that it's still going to be on 80% of the teams, almost no matter what. So we get the attack drop here on the Mirror Shot. I'm not really too concerned with anything Magnezone does here, so I'm not really shielding, plus I'm sure he's going for the baits. And we're just picking up as much energy as possible to throw out two Hydro Cannons, trying to take these shields for sure. We definitely can't have Togekiss coming into the matchup with Magnezone. It will just lose hard, like very hard. So that's all we're doing here. I'll probably shield the next one since I've already gotten both of his shields. Actually, we just take another Mirror Shot. All right. Our opponent baited way too much here, and I'll probably farm down. I definitely want to keep the shield. Oh, interesting that I used the shield there, so I guess I'm going to shield and go Flamethrower, hoping Magnezone doesn't have any energy, and the opponent forfeits, so I guess the Magnezone was out of energy. Alright, so coming in here to game 2, and we're just going to go over one set. So last game we had a bad lead, this game we have a good lead. And they come in with Snorlax, and we come in with Machamp. Now, I think this is one of the first games that I've played against Machamp, against Snorlax, and Snorlax's bulk is actually so insane that you can't farm down from here. You'll have to throw a second Cross Chop, or you're going to take another Body Slam, which actually would KO you. Machamp is frail, so the damage is definitely coming out. Yeah, and you see, we misjudged that, and we need to win this switch, so I decide I'm just going to use a shield here. We go down shields, but we get swap back, and he brings back in Garchomp. Now, Garchomp is a very good Pokemon, but it takes a lot of time to get to that Outrage, and it is very frail still, so it's taking a lot of damage from these cross chops, and it's just building up. Look how much damage this Garchomp has taken at this point. And this is definitely going to be a Sand Tomb. Most Garchomps run Sand Tomb Outrage, yeah. Some do run Earthquake and Sand Tomb. I haven't really seen an Earthquake Outrage one. That would be interesting. But this is why I really like Swampert. You can come in the back here against anyone's Metagross, because like I said, 80% of the people, maybe even 90% of the people are running Metagross. So having a counter to that just in the back is going to be so good for you. And you don't even have to throw the Earthquake. The Earthquake will do about 80%, I think. But we have enough shield pressure to go for these Hydro Cannons. And I'm going to shield here and probably just go for the Earthquake. Hope that they don't switch out on me, because that would be absolutely devastating. Yeah, and I make sure to throw it in the middle of one of the bullet punches there. and we get the Earthquake off. And then I'm just obviously going to switch out, and opponent quits. So awesome. 2-0. I believe this set I started at 2870. And we'll see where we end here. So this is a pretty neutral matchup for the lead. Definitely one that I don't want to get into with Machamp. Or I don't want to switch into, I should say, and then lose the switch advantage. But the fact that they switched out means I'm going to switch into my Machamp, and I'm probably not going to make the same mistake I made last time. Definitely going to go for the double cross chop here so that I don't use any shields, and we'll see if our opponent uses any shields. If our opponent uses a shield, I'll definitely use a shield. But yeah. Oh, we swapped in way too slow, it looks like, and they actually still made it to a body slam. I'm going to say, you know what? I probably live, and I'm going to throw this cross chop. So our opponent has a decision here. He can shield and not really do anything in the next matchup, but maintain switch advantage, or come in, farm down with Swampert, and that's what they do. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'll bring in Togekiss. I'll probably end up shielding, even though Swampert is insane energy right now, because I definitely want to go Metagross into Swampert. Oh, our opponent switched again. That's interesting. This opponent is very switch happy. And I have the shields on Swampert here, so I'm just going to use them in the 2-2. And I wonder if I go straight for the Earthquake. No, I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. Probably go all Hydro Cannons until there are no shields. And at this point, he's just taken so much damage that even a Hydro Cannon would do about 40% of... oh, I guess it does about 30. So it's interesting that our opponent did not shield that one. Leaves us in a little bit of a bad spot. I noticed the switch timer is close to coming up here, and I decide not to throw. I build up and wait for this Swampert matchup, and I have two Hydro Cannons. The first one's not going to pressure him, but this one's definitely going to pressure that shield. And if he does shield, I'm going into Togekiss. Well, I'm going into Togekiss no matter what. And then trying to get to the Flamethrower here for the Metagross. So I'm just going to farm down, not throw this... Oh, because he has too much health for me to farm down. Okay, so this is a decision I made then, and I was like, okay, Metagross might be so low that I can just farm it down anyways. I got the boost, but it didn't matter. The Metagross was going to be 1 to 2 charms away from getting KO'd anyways. That was just me remembering how much health the Metagross had in the back, and that it probably wouldn't be able to do much to Togekiss, so make sure that I'm not down in farm range, like 1 bullet punch from getting KO'd. So another Magnezone lead here. We actually notice it a lot. And I always switch into Machamp if they have a Magnezone. Sorry, I think I said Metagross. If they have Magnezone, I always switch into Machamp. It's going to force them to move out of that matchup really quickly, and most of the time I think they're going to have the Gyarados or the Snorlax in the back. Plus, we always have the Swampert for the Magnezone later. We resist everything, so Swampert's basically... It's weird. So, like, Machamp's the MVP because I can switch into anyone. I can switch him into almost anything. But Swampert's the true MVP that we're sacrificing Machamp to get Swampert into a good matchup. Because once Swampert's in a good matchup, you know, we're really good. And this person also had a double save swap. Oh, interesting. I just realized it's the exact same team as the first person I played. I wonder if someone made a video about this or someone made a Reddit post about Magnezone with... Gyarados and Snorlax in the back, because I hadn't heard of this one. And they actually switch back into Magnezone here, so I decide I'm going to switch out and come in with Machamp. Actually, I think he swapped in KO'd with Spark and then had a little bit of an energy advantage, so he was just trying to gain an advantage, probably assuming that I had Metagross here in the back. But yeah, we have Swampert, so I'm probably throwing this and then bringing in Togekiss, I would assume, to finish it off. And our opponent leaves. Alright. Is this the 4th game or the 5th game? Oh, man. Alright, Gyarados leads. So this is really good for us. They're definitely going to switch out as soon as possible. And, yeah, I could have brought in Swampert there, but there always is a chance that there's Metagross in the back. So I'm going to keep Swampert for the back matchup. And just have Machamp come in here and absolutely wreck shop. Probably won't shield this. Oh, I do shield. So you can take a wild charge. I regret that shield. This is definitely going to be the wild charge now. We can take it and farm down still and be good, but we'll be so low. that I don't think I can make it to this rock slide when the Gyarados comes back in, so I just throw the cross chop just to do some damage. And Gyarados is pretty frail, so this, while it's resisted, is still going to do decent. I mean, that's decent. It does something. Not too much, I guess, but yeah, and they end up having Metagross in the back, and it even shields. This is just Swampert's win for sure. I'll probably go for double Earthquake. This one's bound to be shielded, but we have time, so I might as well just go for the double Earthquake. One thing we do have to be worried about is the Hydro Pump on Gyarados. So I really don't want to shield right here, but I think he gets to another one, and I kind of have to. So this leaves me in a very precarious situation, because the switch clock is not up. He's going to be able to farm down on Gyarados, and if he has Hydro Pump, I might be in danger. I tried to undercharge, but it did too much damage still, and we are able to get this Hydro Cannon off, so I throw this, and I'll probably switch out. But, yeah, now we're just hoping we get to that Ancient Power and then it KOs, or I get the buff, because Hydro Pump here is going to be real tough. Oh my gosh. So I think they end up throwing a Crunch here, which leads me to believe they actually had Outrage instead of Hydro Pump. I definitely would run Hydro Pump if you're running Dragon Breath. If you're running Waterfall, I would run Outrage. You know, have that different moveset so you can hit a lot of different things, right? And that was a 5-0 with Machamp, and we went up to 29-27, so about a 60-point gain. I think I actually a little over 60. Maybe it was 60. Anyways, so that's the team I've been using, and it's had pretty good success. I think Machamp is very good in the meta right now as far as safe swaps go, because of all the other safe swaps that are in the meta. But the meta's changing every day, y'all. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how it is today, how it is tomorrow, if we're going to see more Machamps, and if there are going to be more answers to Machamp in the coming days. So definitely thank y'all for watching this video. Hopefully it's very helpful to y'all. I'm really trying to hit that rank 10. We're getting closer and closer every day. And yeah, I hope these videos help y'all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.